that's the thing that gets lost in translation, is it wasn't a Paul versus Evanescence.
All right, before we begin, let's thank our great sponsors, and we've got some good sponsors. Now, remember, if you would like to be a part of the process, I would love to have a conversation with you. Sponsoring the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, just reach out to me via jasonbailey.com. Let's start. Inspect All Pest Services. Inspect All Pest Services, providing the highest quality termite, pest, and wildlife control. That's not all they do. Inspect All can take care of your insulation, your pressure washing, your gutter maintenance, and other home services there in the metro Atlanta and the surrounding areas. InspectAllServices.com. Also, thanks to Inspect All Pest Services for sponsoring all of our guests on the BPX. The Mad Dog, Manny Aurora with the Aurora Law Firm, theauroralawfirm.com. Best damn defense attorney in the land. He litigates all over the United States, based out of Georgia. Criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, drug offenses, appeals, and more. TheAuroraLawFirm.com. And if you have a legal question for the Mad Dog when he visits the BS, please go to jasonbailey.com and get that to me now. It's Ridgeline Counseling with Dr. David Markwell. If you need help, get help. He's got 10 therapists who work with him there at Ridgeline Counseling, 3 different locations in the state of Georgia, one across from Sprayberry High School in Sandy Plains, in East Cobb, Marietta right there near the square, and McKaysville outside of Blue Ridge. But if you're not in those areas and you still need help from the best in the business, that'd be Dr. David Markwell with Ridgeline Counseling. He does virtual sessions, which are extremely helpful, and you can set that appointment up at markwelltherapy.com. Alternate Power Solutions of Georgia, family owned and operated. They are a Generac generator dealer, offering sales, service, installation, and repair of automatic home standby and portable generators. And each and every one of you, 2 peers, when you become a customer, you get an upgraded warranty, free monitoring with a service contract, offering flexible financing, semi-annual and annual service contracts for existing installations and warranty repair. They have an A+ rating with the BBB, and you pay nothing until the job is complete, and you, the customer, are very, very happy. Call or request a free home assessment. You can go online, poweringgeorgia.com, or you can call 770-853-7571. Don't forget, use the discount code Bailey, and you get $500 off your entire installation. Servicing Georgia and Tennessee. MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. Beautiful, affordable bathing solutions. MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower. They're a local family-owned and operated company committed to enhancing your bathroom experience in Metro Atlanta. They provide high-quality, safe, and affordable walk-in tubs and showers, focusing solely on installations that elevate your home's comfort and accessibility. They service all of Atlanta, Georgia. Like I said, family-owned and operated, no commission sales guys. There's no hassle when you deal with MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. No high-pressure tactics. Go to their website and see the work that they're doing. Gen Xers, having them parents finally move in, and you're going to help them out, and you got to redo all that. Don't do it yourself. Go with the best in the business. These are the pros. MVPWalk-ins.com. Or you can call 404-493-6888. Mention the BPX, get $2,000 off. Again, mention the Bailey Podcast Exchange, BPX, or any of the shows, and you will receive $2,000 off from MVP Walk-In Tub and Shower of Atlanta. Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, Central Florida's first and only ozone therapy spa, administering ozone therapy or activated oxygen therapy non-invasively through what is called the Hocket sauna. Also offering red light therapy, halo therapy, pressotherapy, PEMF, as well as naturally in-house made ozone-infused products online, like that magnesium butter. AliveOzoneTherapySpa.com to book your appointment or to shop all of the products for Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, as well as the brand new Alive Ozone Therapy Spa app. If you are an Apple user, go into your app store and just search Alive Ozone Therapy Spa. If you're an Android user, search Alive Ozone Therapy Spa, order and book online. Again, if you are a business and you want the BPX, the Bailey Podcast Exchange, to help your brand, there's so much more than just advertising when it comes to this world. I'd like to have that conversation with you. Reach out to me, please, via jasonbailey.com, and let's chat. With that being said, let's begin.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. And that's some stories.
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome to the Vinyl Road Podcast.
There there it is, episode 23 of the Vinyl Road Podcast on the BPX as the Bailey Podcast Exchange. 3 different shows, 5 days a week. JasonBailey.com for all of you details. Thanks to all of our great sponsors for making this show happen. All right, thanks for being here. My name is Jason Bailey. Right there, that is Mr. Brad Stewart. Hello, sir. How are you?
Ow! What's up?
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Give you an applause. Our guest for this episode, very excited, first time that I'm ever meeting him, is Mr. Paul McCoy of 12 Stones. How are you, Paul?
I'm wonderful, man. Thanks for having me.
What'd you think of that? What'd you think of that intro? A little too much?
I think I'm glad I'm only showing my top half right now. I'll tell you that. Solid intro, my bro.
Man.
Brad went back and forth on that one a little bit. Like, I don't know. I was like, I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's good. I think the wife, she approved, right? She was cool with it.
She did eventually. Yeah, she was just like, well, your shirt off on a beach. I don't know. It's a little weird. And then I guess we talked her into it, or we just went with it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was very pro Brad with shirt off, but well, it's like we needed an intro for the podcast. I mean, that's what today is, right, Paul? I mean, everything is everybody's doing a podcast because it helps promote your business. Is that
Right.
something that outside, like, okay, you got the rock and roll stuff, but you're like, you know what? In my couple minutes of downtime, maybe I should launch a podcast. Ever think about that?
I feel like I'll probably get myself canceled quick because I got a big mouth and I don't know how to censor myself most of the time. So yeah, I've given it some thought, but I feel like I'm a better guest than a host at sometimes. So
Well, that's what's great about podcasting. It's very difficult to be canceled in an unregulated medium, unlike terrestrial radio, where
Right.
you could say what you need to say. So give me an example, Paul, of a time that you're walking around the house, you're in the shower, you're doing whatever, and you say, you know what? I really need to speak out. I should do a podcast. Give me an example of what that thought was.
I'll be honest, if it's going to be something I feel like I need to say publicly, it's going to be about probably mental health, something along the lines of trying to champion mental health and recognizing and a lot of times it gets overlooked, and especially in artists, musicians and artists of the like. We're all a little bit unique, so I feel like we tend to duck into the shadows when things get rough. So I think if I did do something, it would be a little bit more along those lines.
Mental health and physical health, man. You look great. I saw some photos that you had posted of like a kind of like a before and after. I know you've been sober and stuff, and man, congrats. It's a very tough thing. I mean, I know you have Irish blood. I have some myself, and yeah, so that's never an easy thing. And man, you look great. Like I said, the before and after were almost unbelievable. Like how far you've come. Did you see this, Jason Bailey?
Yeah, I saw. It looks like at one time you'd put on some LBs, right? Yeah.
Well, I love to eat. I'm from New Orleans. Everything I'm body by butter over here. So yeah, man, I can pack them on, no doubt. I got a pretty wild swing. I got up to about 260
That's big.
for
Wow,
a while,
okay.
and now I'm back in the 190 range. So
It's a lot of weight.
yeah, man. 1 year, I just rededicated myself to taking care of myself, both physically and mentally, and it's made a big change. I still struggle every day with the mental stuff, but physically I feel better than ever, and we're trying to get back out on the road, and I'm not a 20-year-old kid anymore. So my brain still tells me I'm 20 years old. So anytime we do a show, I'm like, yeah, everything. And then 2 songs in, I'm like, all right, big fella, calm the brakes, dog.
Easy, Tiger. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst, Paul? Like, what was the day that you said, okay, enough is enough. I need to get back into shape, and I need to get my head clear. What was that day?
Well, initially, that would have been a little over 7 years ago with my sobriety date. I was just I'm the kind of guy that's like I always felt like I was the life of the party, but I didn't realize I was covering up all my social anxieties and things that I had. So um I got rip shit hammered at a show in Baton Rouge. It just fell apart. It was supposed to be a benefit show for our at the time guitar player Eric Weaver. He had some serious medical issues, so we went to go play an acoustic show to raise some money for his medical stuff. And it was a Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the night of an LSU game. Nobody came out. The bar wasn't going to pay me. So I said, oh, all right. Okay. You're not going to pay me. Cool. I'm going to drink my payment. And I went and cleared his bar out. Then I decided to drive myself home an hour with my terrified, sober other guitar player in the passenger seat. And then I got home and I proceeded to go through every possible emotion that you could think of. I was mad. I was sad. I was crying. I was, manic. I was all the things. And I just woke up the next day and just said, no more of this, man. Like, I'm just at a point where I've seen too many people that I've cared about through the years get caught up and lost in their own whatever. So luckily I have an awesome support system, and my lady, she doesn't pull any punches. So she got me on the straight and narrow and helped me remove my head from my lower region. And but then it took several years to even navigate what I was going through. It like I realized that I didn't know who I was, in the sense of like, I don't know what activities I like to do. I love to play golf, but I like to go play golf because I get to get drunk at 9 a.m. and hang out with my buddies. I don't really love golf as much as I thought I loved golf. You know what I mean? So like relearning yourself, it's a pretty messed up experience if you haven't gone through it. Just waking up and being like, who's that guy? I don't know. Like I dove into the rock and roll lifestyle so deep that I couldn't remove myself from it. So anytime I would come home from a long tour, I was calling people up like, where's the party? What are we doing? They're like, dude, it's Tuesday, dog. I got work. It's Tuesday. And I'm like, what's a Tuesday? So
would do you think that you would have the struggles with mental health and at the time struggles with alcohol and addiction if you did not get the fame from rock and roll?
Yeah, that's genetic in my mind anyway. I don't know that I would have recognized it, and I don't know that it would have been as severe, but alcoholism runs in the family. Like you said earlier, I got a little bit of that Irish, Scottish blood running through me. I'm a competitive drinker. That was the thing, right? Like I wasn't a guy that had to wake up and stop the shakes. But if I started drinking, I wasn't going to stop until it was like there was nothing left. And, Brad, from being on tour, other bands on tour always got booze. So if you see me show up at your bus at 3 a.m., I'm not there to hang out. You know what I mean?
He's out of booze. Yeah.
I'm out of the sauce. So I think it wouldn't have been as severe, maybe. I think I would have been able to get a little bit better handle of it, but it might have been more closeted in that regard. I might have still dealt with it, but not tried to have a voice for it as much.
Yeah. I've actually drank with him before, and man, we got after it a few times, and I felt it maybe for a day or two after. I mean, it's one of those things I think, you can definitely take it too far, and if you're taking it too far nightly, it's going to take a toll on you. And especially if you're using it to, I think, sort of mask some things. Yes, absolutely. And those things are still there. You just haven't dealt with them. You thought you did by hiding them or drowning them out with alcohol. And you still one day do have to deal with them, I think.
That's,
and that's
the hardest part.
That's
the
hard part.
Honestly, is facing the crap that I tried to bury. You know what I mean? Like I got traumas in my life I don't remember because they've been blocked out, whatever. But man, I thought that alcohol helped me be more fun, but really what it helped me do is not be so depressed in that sense. Like it is a depressant, but in that moment I was like, yeah, everything's great. This is the best day ever. Like I got a record deal when I was 19 years old. I went from high school to touring with Brad and the guys, back in Shinedown, Three Doors Down days. I remember sharing dressing rooms with you guys on the Three Doors tour way back in the day, and like whose beer was in the cooler, you know what I mean? So it's like
Matt Peliquin and Phil Pagano, all those characters around too, man. That's like 22 years ago at least. That's a long time ago. Yeah.
And I'm happy I'm still above ground after hanging out with you kids for so long.
Me and you both.
Have you tried, Paul, to substitute the urge for alcohol, I mean, I guess at that time it's already in your system and it's that chemical addiction is there. But I know we all have traumas in our lives. You know I do. I tried to be an alcoholic when I was younger. I couldn't drink by myself. I got bored because I always have to do something. And thank God I love my days so much that I want to get up early to do things. So that I got lucky, but I tried, bastard child, beat up as a kid, all that kind of stuff. I chose anger over the drugs and the alcohol. So that was my substitute of like, I have a receipt on life, a hit list of people that any ounce of success I get, that's a punch in the face to them, which would be an addiction of sorts. Have you tried to substitute those urges for something else?
Yeah, I think the old adage is Jesus or a gym, right? It's like, addicts, we have to fix onto something, even if it's healthy, right? So like part of my physical transformation has been, I need something to occupy my brain, like I'm one of the most angry people on the planet, and I don't have a right to be, in the sense that like I've got a good life. I'm taken care of. I wake up with food and shelter every day. So, but I'm mad, dude. I don't do well in cars. I don't do like people in general. I just went on my honeymoon, and we hit a bunch of theme parks, and I was in Disney World, mad, bro, like mad at nothing, and it's just something like I have to pivot and realize that like people are gonna people, and like because I have this vision of what is universally right and universally wrong, and I'm ready to trip a child for cutting me in line to get on the Peter Pan ride, dog. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. No, here we don't go, fool. You know? But that's something I'm now having to deal with, right? So like those are the urges and things that I had to suppress with all the booze and stuff through the years, right? Like, can you imagine being a 44-year-old man standing in line for a Peter Pan at or Magic Kingdom, ready to wallop an 8-year-old because they got in front of me? Dog, I've been on Peter Pan before. You ain't missing nothing. Calm down. It's a walk on.
For me, it's the airplane thing. Like you're sitting there, and all of a sudden, the people from the back start creeping up. Like they're gonna get in front of you off the plane, and I'm like, no, it does not work that way. We boarded a certain way, we exit a certain way, motherfucker. Like I get pissed about like weird shit like that. So I could totally relate, man. Totally fucking relate to that shit, man. And maybe it's because we travel so much, dude, that it just like little fucking things like that, man. I'm like, no, you ain't.
I can help summarize all of this because I share the same anger. I've joked over the years on my radio shows, and I've given my name the Prince of Common Sense. Is that people that have common sense get very angry at the majority of people that don't have common sense. Both the examples that you, Paul and Brad, just gave, that's common sense. So, you're not getting off the plane faster. You're not getting on Peter Pan faster. Chill the fuck out.
You can get all the smoke from me on an airplane. I promise you that. Every time we land, my wife is like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm like, no, dude, no. One lady got on a plane the last time when we flew out to Vegas to get married. We're getting on the plane. It's an empty plane. And so they're telling it, hey, we need to spread everybody out. Come on to the back. And this lady gets on, like one of the last people to get on. And she says out loud, well, now I have to get off after all these people. And I just was like, ugh, you're gross, like what a gross person, man. Like, yeah, you got on last, you get off last, dog. You went to the back.
Yeah. Man, now if they have a connecting flight it's tight connection and whatever, yeah, go on ahead. But like, man, when they're just being assholes and inconsiderate and just do that, man, that's woo, I start like smoke coming out of my ears, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Well,
you got too, but I think that has a little something to do with it. I can't. My eyes twitch, and I have to like literally. I got to the point where I like talking to my like in my therapy sessions. I'm sitting here talking about like what I got to do. I was told to get noise canceling headphones just for my life. I'm like, that's gonna be me just walking through the supermarket with these big old earmuffs on, just like not looking at people.
That cat from Heathcliff.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to live that kind of life. You know what I mean? It's just like I have to figure out how to be around people because obviously we're all in this together, right? I mean, it's like
Yeah, I'm going to give you a suggestion that you'll always remember, and if you do it, it'll work. You ready?
yeah.
I taught this to myself during my first marriage because we argued so much and it just got out of control, and I let the emotion get the best of me. Then I realized that arguments and debates are just like a boxing match. You don't see two boxers going balls to the wall at each other. They're smart. They play defense. It's a dance. Floyd Mayweather is a defensive boxer. Life, debates, conversations, being around people are the exact same play, right? So when you feel that stress and you feel that confrontation, you feel your blood starting to boil, physically take a step back. That'll train your brain to lose the emotion and use the intelligence portion of it to think about the scenario and what's going on. And then you'll intelligently be able to rationalize what the situation is. Physically take a step back, but you have to train your brain to do it. I mean, like literally, boink. You know,
in that step, I'm taking a step back to throw that counter hook, though. That's what the step back.
Get that hip in there, man.
That hip in there. All right.
Super Mario style, dude. Come on.
Yeah. I'm gonna hear coins pop out. You know what I mean?
No shit. Fucking fire and mushrooms and flowers and shit. Stars.
Coins. Every time Paul hits him, my coins are flying everywhere. Go back to the podcast thing, and you're talking about being canceled. I know it was kind of tongue in cheek, but you know, the idea of discussing, especially with the platform that you have, mental health, and you seem like, you know, I've only known you for about 20 minutes here, but you seem like a very open and honest guy, very relatable. And there's a lot of people that struggle. You see a lot of bands, you know, Brad's former guys in Shinedown, they're very big on mental health. Brent, I remember going through his struggles at the time when he put on the weight, and Brad, you know what I'm talking, you know, and so it was a matter of figuring it out. There's a lot of artists, you know, when you were talking about that show, that rock bottom show, what came to mind was Kevin Martin of Candlebox when he had his rock bottom moment in Orlando at the Hard Rock Live. And I knew people around him that helped him that night. And I loved Kevin Martin of Candlebox. And that was his rock bottom moment where he realized, boom, I see, you know, Bobby of Saliva post just the other day, his anniversary of sobriety. Jacoby, Papa Roach talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
So there's a place for you. There's a much needed place for you, I think, Paul, in that world to tell your story that if I were to guess, is not out there as much as it could be. And there's a lot of fans that you have and people that you could help. Just my opinion, my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, I think the need is there for sure, and it goes back to what I've always considered is like I don't feel that I've led by example, and maybe still being here is the example that I'm using, but I always feel weird trying to be like, here's what you should do, you know, or here's what it is, because I don't know anything. I'm like that I think that's the inherent issue with the world is that none of us know anything. None of us know anything.
I'm going to disagree. Look, here's something. Brad struggles with this too. Do you mind me saying that, Brad, about the online stuff and talking about it? It's the humbleness. It's the Gen Xer thing in us.
Yeah.
What I've learned is that if we know something and we've experienced something, not textbook stuff, it's not like we're math teachers, right? But you've lived through mental health struggles. You don't have to preach. You just have to tell your story. Let me tell you, dude, I just learned, you know, I've always been known as a know-it-all, and I like to help and give advice and stuff, and it's giving me a bad rap, even though I mean well. I just learned the other day at 50 years of age that I'm finally good at something and somebody wants me because of what I'm good at. And that is being a bastard. I'm going to join, true story, a charity organization that helps fatherless kids out. After 30 years in the radio business, playing college football, all these things out the window. I had to wait till I was 50 to find out that people wanted me to help because I was a bastard and grew up without a father. So, you know, the point is that you've gone through it. You don't have to preach. You just have to share your story. And that's better than preaching.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement, man. So, I definitely can hear what you're saying, and I can appreciate that, for its face value. I do find it hard to uh, speak out of what I would say is my character. I don't feel like it's not that I don't have a story to share. It's just that a lot of times I feel like it does come across as uh, a condescending moment, and I try not to be, because I'm a mouthy fool, dude. I got paid to talk into a microphone for 25 years, so it's hard for me to, like, especially if I get like heated about something, it's hard for me to like reel it in. So I find speaking on like mental issues is something I have to figure out how to word properly without coming across as a condescending
Yeah,
ass.
let it go, man. Just
You know, on here, it's almost like therapy for us.
Yeah.
When we don't have a guest, we're talking about stories, and people have had questions about my past and bands and otherwise. And I think by me just talking to someone about it, him, Jason, I found that it's also helped me heal a bit even more from certain situations and things, like, reuniting with Shinedown and stuff like that. I mean, that was healing in and of itself, and the power of like sort of forgiving all that angst I had towards them and resentment and everything. But it was still healthy for me to just talk about. It still would trigger things, but and then I would sort of heal from that trigger. And I think, thankfully we have this here podcast as an outlet, for not only, telling stories and having some fun, but also it's actually helped me mentally with certain situations in my life, man. So come on anytime and talk about whatever you want, man, on here, if it helps you, man.
Here's what we all have in common, right? We're addicted to the microphone. So in your guys' case, you're addicted to on stage performing, the adrenaline rush, writing songs, watching, words become these beautiful creations that people can relate to, evoking emotion. We all have that in common, just in different kind of realms. I produce 3 different shows 5 days a week in the podcast world. Granted, one of them is syndicated on 2 radio stations, but I'm nowhere near what I was just a couple years ago in this radio business financially. Am I getting out of it what I'm putting in? Financially, no. Therapeutic wise, yes. I have to talk into this microphone. Whether my audience is 5 people or 5,000 people or 500,000 people, I still have to do it. So when you guys, both of you, and Brad, you've alluded to this the last couple episodes, coming off, that long draining saliva tour, and now you're home and you've got to be Brad, the husband and father. It's a different world. And I've seen that with other artists that I'm friends with, and you have to adapt to that lifestyle. You're no longer that guy. You need an outlet, because that's the way us creative types are built. And if you don't, then I firmly believe this, you fall into those vices like alcohol and drugs and depression and those types of things, because you need something to substitute that rush. Maybe podcasting is more important to the world than anyone thought it would be. Who knows?
At least to the individuals, right? It's like, I do agree with the therapeutic side of things. I've always told people when we play live, that's my therapy session, and I just have a bunch of random people in the room with me. Every time I scream, it's from my toes. Every time I sing a word, I go back to the place I was when I wrote it. No show is the same, because we transform into, like, for me, I become the character that people see on the stage. Whereas when I'm home, I'm this quirky nerd, that doesn't like to leave my house. But when I'm out there, I look like a psychopath, because I be able to create a persona and take myself back to where I need to be to perform in a way that I think is the way it should be performed. When I see other bands play, I mean, not in a judgy way, but I watch. I'm like, I want to see where you're at. I want to see, like, are you still in it? Are you just phoning it in? Are you just like, here's our song we played 8 million times, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'd rather see somebody perform and miss a note or two, but really be selling it to me, versus someone that sounds like the record and is making me fall asleep. Like I want
It's
to see you feel that.
it's actually like a moving. It still moves you. You know, it's still, and it's moving the audience. It's like you said. It's not just okay. Like a machine's singing. It's still there's some humanity to it. It's not auto tuned and it's not, you know, affected to hell and back. You know, it's coming from the guts, dude. It's got to come from the guts, especially
Yeah.
for the singer, dude, because it's hard to hide that shit.
Yeah.
And people will pick up on it if you're just fucking around up there and just trying to get through it, man. I've seen it. I watch too, man. And I learn though too, you know, from other bands. And so I do have to ask you, like, I mean, a lot of people do sort of have a ritual they go through before they get up there, and part of that, I'm sure, at one point for you was drinking something. And so I'm wondering how now, because I'm kind of on the road to, I've been cutting back a lot as far as things go with that. So I'm trying to figure out too how to do it without it.
It's
And how did you figure that out? That's terrifying, right? I mean,
it is, dude,
you know,
because
I mean,
I put myself into that character. So for most of the years when we were touring in our prime, you know, 8 months out of the year, I have a rule, and I mean, we started off with no drinking on show days, and then it turned into like you can have one drink starting an hour before,
yep.
and then it just turned into like how many bottles are on the rider, you know, and so.
Yeah.
As that builds up, for the longest time, we did the Bad Boys of Rock tours, us, Papa Roach, and Hinder, and we were getting like 48 Red Bulls and 2 handles of vodka a day and
Yeah.
not having any left over. So now, the first time I did a show sober, I was deer in the headlights. I literally at one point had no shtick in between songs. I didn't have my normal banter. I literally did this. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like I literally was up there just being an idiot because I froze. So it definitely took some doing. And I always drank like vodka Red Bulls. So now I just drink sugar-free Red Bull on ice, try to trick my brain a little bit. And actually Danny Trejo makes a alcohol-free tequila alternative.
Really?
Yeah, it's great. It's like you can get them on Amazon, but it's like a alcohol-free tequila, but it just has the same vibe. So I'll make myself a mixed drink, a mocktail, you know, and my brain's like, all right, you're ready to do this now. But in reality, it's just another little thing I can cling to make me feel. But for the most part, it's just.
So it's ritualistic.
Oh yeah. 30 minutes
Yeah.
before a show, don't talk to me. And it's not like I'm a big mean. I put my headphones in. I have a warm up playlist. I walk around. I shadow box. I jump, jack, stretch out, and then at that point, Paul's no longer there. You know what I mean? And then the horror movie style. It's like I've checked out. I've released to my inner self and let that person take over for the show. And then as soon as the show's over, I towel off, snap back into it, go to the merch table, meet everybody that's willing to come and say hello. And people are like, wow, you're really nice. I thought you were like, you look crazy up there, you know? And I'm like, oh, yeah, right on. You know, that's the performance part of it, right? It's like
meeting Rob Zombie or Alice Cooper. Everybody thinks that they're these big monsters, but in all actuality, those are the two most educated, intelligent people that you could ever possibly have a conversation with.
Right.
And they're articulate. You know, it's nothing like what you see on stage. Totally
performance. At the end of the day, it's a performance. What we do is to entertain. So while I do believe certain bands hold a higher value of content, they have a little bit more validity. Not everybody needs to sing about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man. It's been done. There's plenty of bands that are great at that. I don't want to be one of them. I want to feel like if I do have a platform for this many years, I want to have something of substance to bring to the world. Overcoming adversity, believing in yourself, finding your own path in life, like those things. But say it aggressively. That's kind of what we do. Is we try to bring a positive message very aggressively, like be happy. You know what I mean? So,
or else.
This is a good question for both of you guys. Start with you, Paul. Do you think that lyrics that work for songs that resonate with the audience, go mainstream, radio friendly, as that's what I mean by mainstream, Do you think they work because of what society is at the time? Or is there another reason? Is it a formula thing? And what I mean by that is you talk sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That was the 80s. That was society. That was the world that we lived in. Everybody was doing blow. Everybody was drinking. We weren't worrying about DUIs. We weren't worrying about any of that stuff. The 90s was targeted to us Gen Xers. We were latchkey kids. We were angry at our parents. Heroin was introduced into the world. Bunch of people got it. That grunge era just dipped right into it. Whether calculated on purpose or not, who the hell knows? So now you're in 2025. What is society now? And how can bands like 12 Stones or Saliva write music that's going to resonate with society and what it's going through, which is a lot of politics, unfortunately.
Right. For me, it's still about the individual. I write songs for the human being, not for a political affiliation, gender, creed, race, motto, lifestyle. Man, go be human. That's all. To me, like I write songs that mean something to me, the individual. So I have a song that we wrote on our album that's in 2007 called "World So Cold." I wrote it while sitting in Memphis in the studio after watching a newscast about a mass shooting, and I was like, man, this world is messed up. It hasn't gotten better. It's not like it's gotten any better, right? The world is seemingly, I think the smarter we get, the dumber we are in a lot of ways. It's like we're all getting so bored with just being okay. It's like everybody has to have a platform and an issue and something to be mad about, like right, left, up, down, the sky is blue. It's like I write songs that it was like, what do you do though? Like, like how do you feel? Don't worry about what all these other people are saying and doing. Like you, the individual, what do you think? So me, I write songs a lot of times to myself about how I'm feeling, so that that's my way to get my thoughts out, is to write them down and put them into a cadence. So a lot of times I don't sit down to go, how can I change the world today? It's more of like, how do I feel about the world today? How do I feel about a certain situation? And how can I articulate that to where it's receivable by more than just myself? Like how can I make this tolerable? How can I make these points in a way? Like a lot of times people don't even really listen to the lyrics. You think of songs like Pumped Up Kicks. Oh yeah. People don't know what the hell
that's a mass shooting. Yeah, it's about a mass shooting. Yeah.
It's insane to me. Like I have a friend that's been my best friend since 5th grade. He knows nothing about music at all. Can't carry a tune in a bucket. That song came out and he was so, man, this song's good, man. I was like, what's it about though? He's like, oh, I don't know.
Well, Jeremy, like Pearl Jam. Think about that. I mean, that was Pumped Up Kicks before Pumped Up Kicks.
Exactly. And it's been around. So the melody, the cadence, the groove, all those things are what pull a lot of people in, that the common listener, as I would say, right? So you pull all these people in, and it's like Dave Grohl always said, like, you gotta write lyrics like a bumper sticker. You know what I mean? Something to like get people's, because all they care is about the quirky little one-liners. Nickelback, king of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I got nothing but love for Nickelback, by the way. All these people out there hating on them, they do what they do, and they're masters of their craft. But to me, what I'm trying to write is not that. You know what I mean? They got that covered. They can do all those things, and they do it great. So I want to focus on my thing and try to bring a little positivity and just a little like thinking. Like I want to bring thinking back. If we could do that, like think for yourself.
Good luck.
It's been a long battle.
I think further to your point about people not listening to the words. I mean, you have a band like Pink Floyd, and it was more of like a sound and a vibe, and people were doing a lot of hallucinogens back then, right? So they were like pioneering these sounds that went along. Of course, the lyrics made sense with their music, but I think people it was like they would go for like an experience, and not just be about the lyrics. It would be like like you watched The Wall. You were supposed to watch The Wall on acid. Right. I'm sure you guys did that. I mean, didn't everybody do that? Or or on mushrooms or some kind of altered state you'd be in. But then there are bands like Rage Against the Machine and System of a Down that they're singing about war, they're singing about politics, and I think I think it can strike a nerve, and it can bring popularity to the band if the timing is right, of course, and if the lyrics and the song and everything is right. But I do believe, like what you're saying though, sometimes the lyrics just go right over people, and it's just, and they don't
Most of the
even know that most of the time, but for the ones that care about lyrics, they know, they get it and stuff. But I mean, but I think, like I said, and a lot of it is, we've had this discussion before on here. It's like, what is the drug of the day? Is it weed? Okay, then you have stoner rock happening, and people like stoner rock, regardless of what the fuck they're singing about. You get stoned and listen to it because that's what you did, right? And same with, like I said, Pink Floyd. Then there was heroin. Now people are on heroin, and it's real gritty, like heavy, real. I mean, especially compared to the cocaine '80s, where everyone's happy or they're pussy party music and fucking shit's going crazy. And then that ended, and it was very sobering for those folks, for sure. And then into the 2000s, people are doing ecstasy, and you have EDM, and there's no lyrics, or it's like back with another one of those block rock and beats, and then and there's fucking people going crazy and shit because they're on ecstasy, right? So there's definitely something to do with the drug of the time, I do believe, with certain like stylistically, musically, and popularity.
I almost can appreciate the songs that are about nothing, but create this. Smells Like Teen Spirit. Kurt Cobain, I believe the story is he went into a medicine cabinet and saw deodorant, the spirit, whatever, and the song came from that, and all the drums from that song, as Dave Grohl has said before, he ripped off from like bands from the 70s.
Yeah,
it's a 70s beat, so like nobody knows that unless you love music and are willing to kind of educate yourself. The ones that have a lot of lyrics, then they get misconstrued, and when people take them out of sorts, then the artist gets pissed off, and it's like, dude, no, that's a bounce. You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting. Was 12 Stones considered a Christian band because of the success of Bring Me to Life with Evanescence? And they were, at the time, I believe, considered a Christian band, at least from the radio side of things.
No, we got signed in 2001 before Evanescence, and I grew up in the church, so a lot of my lyrics are about organized religion and like trying to figure it out, like, what I mean? So a lot of times we didn't curse in our songs. We were very positive with the lyrics. And in a couple songs I said like, Lord, I need you now, in one of our songs. I reference like I pray, or any of these things that had any religious connotation. Wind Up Records saw dollar signs, because a lot of people don't know this, but Christian artists get paid a lot of money to go do
They
Christian
really
things.
do. It's big time.
A lot of money, man. And like we play a festival, and this was never our goal. Like our original drummer is an atheist, so like people are like, "Oh, a Christian band, 12 Stones." I'm like, "Y'all don't know anything, man." Like, and we didn't want to do any of it. We never wanted to be. Again, it goes back to my, I don't lead. I'm not a lead. I'm not here to show you how to do things. I'm not here to be a beacon of light. At that time, especially, is they saw dollar signs. They got us to do. We would go play a festival, make $1,000, and then we go play a Christian festival for 45 minutes and make 30 grand.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big. I mean, it's a big market, dude. So, I mean, whether you wanted to be that or not, it's kind of like, well, we'll do a few of them. Don't worry.
Right. Like back in the day when everyone's partying and everyone's doing the stuff, like you can't turn it off because of your location. It's not a GPS signal. You know what I mean? I can't not party just because I'm on Jesus's turf today. You know what I mean? And it was like, it became that internal struggle of like, this is morally messed up that we couldn't turn down the shows because the label paid the tour support. They did the routing. They sent us where we went. And in that moment, like, I got vodka in my Gatorade bottle, and then we're going on, and then there's like, I'm trying not to stumble through the show, and then we're out of there. As soon as we're loaded up, we're out. Like, and I felt miserable. Like, I just was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not him. Like, and then there'd be other bands that are fully faith-based, like Skillet, nothing but love for those guys, but they're there to bring people to Jesus. You know what I mean? That was not my goal at any point. And so to go on stage with vodka in my Gatorade bottle and then right before Skillet, who's bringing people to the Lord. You know what I mean? It's like I felt dirty, I felt grimy, and then every time somebody says like, "Oh, Christian band," I'm like, "Man, you don't know anything about me." Like, have
Yeah.
you ever been to a 12 Stone show before? Have you ever talked to me after a show? If you did, you wouldn't be sitting here thinking I'm holding this cross for you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a question, man. So obviously I'm sure you're asked this all the time. The Evanescence connection was a big thing. I mean, and obviously same label, of course, Wind Up Records, um, uh, and I saw, at Louder in Life, Saliva was supposed to be there actually, and we played the show with you. So 12 Stones jumped on a show with us like right before Louder in Life in Ohio. It was like a mini little festival out in this town called New Waterford, Ohio. And then next thing you know, he's off to Louisville for Louder in Life, and it's like Paul McCoy rejoins 12 Evanescence for Bring Me to Life, and it had been fucking years, right? Like 10 years or a long fucking time. So I have to imagine, and I know some of the backstory on this, but like, and I know there's probably was some resentment on your part with that whole situation. You don't have to go into that part, but how did it come about this time for you to jump back up there with her and the band? And I mean, if you ask me, that's their biggest song, and they should have had you out there with them every time they played the fucking song, because you made that song as much as she did and they did, as far as that's some of my favorite parts of the song was when you come into the fucking song, right?
Yeah.
So for you not to go out there with them, in my head, they should have had you out there on the regular, bro, if not on the road, just doing it, So anyway,
Yeah.
how did it come about this time, and why did you agree to it, and or did you go to them this time?
I went to them. I reached out to Amy, and I found out we were going to play the same festival the same day, and I was like, what am I going to lose? What are you going to either not respond to me, which is not in her character, or say we've already got something planned, we can't do it. All you can do is tell me no. You can't take away my birthday. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I'm going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So I swung for it. She responded and said she loved the idea.
Yeah.
And it was great. Initially it was a really messed up scenario, and I didn't even realize that I was in such a messed up scenario. We were on the same record label. We were at Wind Up Records having a meeting with the president at the time, Steve Lerner, and we were in his office, and they played us the demo to Bring Me to Life, and I heard like the cheesiest sounding rap part. And I was like, what's happening there though? And it was like, oh no, that's just the producer just gonna give it an idea, but we're gonna go get Mike Shinoda, we're gonna go get Josie, we're gonna go get all the rap rock. This is 2002 when we were recording. So Linkin Park is like the biggest band in the world at that time, so everybody wanted to try to jump on that new metal rap rock craze. The issue was that this was their first single off their first album. And they didn't want to be introduced to the world as a band that had a rap rock guy in it. I was a 20-year-old kid. Like somebody said something about all these famous guys they were going to go get to do the song. We had already had our first record out with, okay success for us. And I jokingly said, well, man, if you can't find anybody famous to do it, I'll do it. And we all laughed, and it was kind of that was the end of it. And then 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from the label saying, hey, were you serious? Would you be willing to do the song? I was like, absolutely. I love interacting with other artists. I love seeing your process. How do you write a song? How do you record? What's your method? What's your style? What's your this? I'm a nerd like that. Like when I go work with producers, I'm like, what are you doing? I can never figure it out, And so I was like, yeah, I'll definitely do it. I had no idea that there was beef between the label and the band about this subject. I just walked into the room glazy eyed. Yeah, dude, I'll do it. Yeah, dude. And then I instantly became vilified after the song's already a hit. I didn't realize that they didn't want me a part of it. They didn't want anybody. It wasn't that's the thing that gets lost in translation, is it wasn't a Paul versus Evanescence. It wasn't Paul versus Amy. It was band versus label. And stupid kid in the middle is what it was. But people don't know that. All they see is a couple of interviews that says like, we didn't want to have this, and they're like, they hate him, and I
Right.
immediately became public enemy number one in the eyes of all these Evanescence fans. I'm like, I didn't even, dude, I don't know. I found out in Romania while we were shooting the music video, the guitar player that was hired at the time, someone asked me what I was thinking about the experience, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I'm in Romania right now. I said the only thing that could have made this better is because I just met you guys, is if this was like a 12 Stones thing. You know what I mean? That's literally the only thing that could top this feeling right now. And he looked at me across the table and said, well, when we're bigger than Linkin Park, you'll be happy we let you be a part of this.
Wow.
And I was like,
Yeah.
who are you talking to, big fella? You know, like,
Yeah.
for me, I immediately was like, first of all, y'all haven't released anything yet. This is song number one, and you're already talking about being bigger than Linkin Park. Wild that it became something like that, but I just felt like the audacity to just like look at me in my face and say something like that. I was like, all right. And I just made a mental note of it. We did it, went on about my life. And then we did a 2-week tour with them, and I wasn't asked to do the song once until the very last show when the guy that was doing the part, his voice was sore. So they came to the bus and asked if I would fill in.
What? Fill in for the song that you recorded. So that's crazy. I mean, here's my thing. Again, if I'm label, I'm going, sorry, band, you did sign a deal, and there's probably some language in the contract that has to do with creative input and control, which obviously they had conceded some of that to allow you on the track to start with, because it wasn't up to them, it was up to the label, right? That's what happens when you sign record deals. Sometimes you don't roll in there having sold record 1 or record 0, and now all of a sudden you're the boss of the label telling them how you're going to do your band. I'm pretty sure it's up, they're making a lot of these decisions for you, and whether you like it or not. So you can be pissed at them all you want. But here's my thing. If I'm them, I'm trying to massage the band into doing another collab with you because of the success of that, and maybe trying to make it make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that makes more sense to me, man. I mean, I don't know, dude.
Okay, so this is coming from the fans' perspective, not understanding, just thinking new song. I remember when the song comes out. I remember where I was. I remember what radio station I was. I remember trying to pronounce Evanescence. I was Evanescence for a long time, and then I always was not familiar with you. Again, this is the first time we met, and it would say in the logs, Evanescence in my head, parentheses with Paul McCoy of 12 Stones, featuring Paul McCoy of 12 Stones. And I would read it just like that, because I thought that was cool to make sure that you gave credit where credit is due. And again, I agree with Brad, that part 50-50 making the song. I mean, you take that part in your voice and the way that you did it out of the equation, the song is not the same.
Not the same. No fucking way. Yeah.
So and I didn't write the part, by the way. It's just everybody's talking trash saying I'm a rapper. I didn't write it, dude. I went in, there was a lyric sheet. I heard the cadence. I was told how to do it. I did the part as it was written. I don't have any royalties from that song. I don't have any creative input on that song. I went in as a hired gun, sang some words. It took me an hour and a half, and I flew back to tour with Seven Dust the next morning.
You make zero money off of that song.
So no performance royalty, nothing. I mean, no kind of.
I won't say
sound exchange.
I do now, because there was some lawsuit with SAG-AFTRA that I have intellectual property rights. I get paid once a year now for the last decade. So, but for the first 10 years, I got paid $3,000 up front to go, like
a performance fee, like just for you to sing, and it's like a work for hire one time. Thank you, good day to you kind of thing. That was one of the biggest songs of the decade, man.
Yeah, it was number 13 highest selling album of that decade.
If I'm label and I want to keep you guys happy, you're still on Wind Up at the time, like throw you a bone on that one, man. I mean, that's how dirty this fucking business is. Dirty, bro. Dirty shit.
I did get one of these bad boys though, so I can't.
That's cool. Yeah,
can't be too mad at them. You know what I mean? I don't have any issue with the band. I don't have any issue with it, even like the attitude comments that happened. Like, I wasn't in their shoes. I can't know how they feel about having some rando dude come in and put his stamp on whatever they've spent all their time working on. You know, I was never upset with them. I was more upset that like I felt like I was an afterthought, and then even after feeling dismissed, then I'm public enemy number one. Like, all these interviews happen, like, we didn't want that on there. We didn't want to deal with the rapper, and I'm like, you stop calling me a rapper, dude. Like, I can't rap at all. And so people are like, that's a trash rap. You're right, because it's not rap, dude. I sing in a rock band. I scream my head off. If that's what we want to do, cool. But I still, to this day, I get tagged every single day, 25 times a day, in something Evanescence related. And I've just turned on the troll hunter, dude. I go into the chat when people start talking. I'm like, I'm right here right now. What's up?
Yeah.
Big
What do you
boy,
got to say now? Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
How did you, so Bring Me to Life, Evanescence won a Grammy. That's what you just showed, right? You got one for your part in the song, even though you didn't get paid to do your portion of the song. You got a Grammy. How did you get the Grammy?
Well, he got paid up front as a work for hire, and you don't get royalties, but you're still considered a Grammy award-winning singer, correct? I mean, you got the horn right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went I got this because it's a performance-based Grammy. This is Best Hard Rock Performance. So you don't have to be a writer to win a performance Grammy.
Right.
So they were nominated for, I think, 4 Grammys that year. This is one that we won. I got to attend the Grammys. I rode there in a limo with Ben, the original guitar player, and Dave Fortman, who produced it. Psycho, and I love him to death. But I rode with them in the limo, and we walked the red carpet, and we got out of the limo, and I guess Ben and Amy had already had their beef at this point. So we got to the red carpet, and we get out, and they're like, "Who are you guys?" We're like, we're Evanescence." And they're like, "Oh no, they've already come through. Just move along." And we got like pushed through the red carpet, and it was like, okay. Then we get inside. All of Evanescence is seated on the floor because they're nominated. They're like, "Okay, Mr. McCoy, follow me." And I'm like, you couldn't have gone any higher without like a rigger's license. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
you're in the rafters, dude. Like,
yeah. And they announced that we won during the commercial break, and I was like, yeah. And everyone's looking like, sit down, crazy dude. Like, no clue who I am or whatever. And I was just like, it was just a weird experience all the way around. And I didn't want the smoke. You know what I mean? I was just trying to expand myself and like work on another album that I never otherwise would have been a part of. Had I known that there was a struggle going on between band and label, I would have not touched it with a 10-foot pole, because I'm not the type of person to come pee in your Cheerios. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if you don't want, I want to go where I'm celebrated, not where I'm tolerated. I don't want you to have like, not, if I'm not invited, I'm not going to the cookout. That's fine.
That's it, man.
But just tell me I'm not invited. Don't let me show up with a +1 and then be like, who invited this guy? Like,
what's he doing here? Yeah.
Just so I understand, you went to the Grammys with Ben Moody, the original guitarist of Evanescence. So Ben was not the guy that sat across from you and said those things about when they were to become as big as Linkin Park.
No, it was not Ben.
Okay, that's because I was wondering if that I wasn't going to bring it up, but I was wondering if that was him.
And all these bridges have been mended. All these things have been talked about and discussed through the years. I mean, look, we're old, dog. This song is almost 25 years old, man. And that's why I tell all these people online that still talk trash to this day. I'm like, how bored are you to sit here and try to talk trash on a dude that sang a song?
No. You're looking at it the wrong way, bro. You are so looking at it the wrong way. You should be, and this is kind of my mantra, is what you would normally look at as a negative. There's a way to look at everything more optimistically. You should look at this as the song was so big, your contribution was so instrumental that it survived for 25 years, that makes people talk about it. Not that they're bored and have nothing to do. It's that you were so good and that song was so good that it still lives rent free in their brains.
It's striking nerves still, and on on the radio, on wherever it's played.
Totally different ways to look at
YouTube.
it.
Yeah.
Right. It goes back to
Spotify.
me the same mindset, right? It goes back to the same mindset of like the Nickelback thing. Like everybody hates Nickelback except for the 40,000 people they play in front of every night. You know what I mean? Like everybody hates that song. No, you don't. How did it sell the 13th highest selling albums of a decade? If all of you hate it and you all hate me, you didn't buy the record, you didn't spin it, you didn't listen to it, stop it. Stop it.
Chad even said, he goes, "I'm just gonna jump off my wallet,"
Yeah.
and end it all. That's how much he's like. You know what? If anything, he said the haters have actually prolonged their career by stirring the shit up. For me, if you put something out that has a reaction, positive or negative, it's still a reaction.
Right.
And a lot of times the people that are at first negative about it come around and end up becoming fans anyway. But it's that knee-jerk reaction. Oh, it's this or it's that, but I do feel like they do come around eventually. And even if they don't, you don't need them, because there's so many people that are at the shows and supporting this thing. Then like Chad said, he's like, yeah, I'm so bummed about the haters that I'm gonna jump off my wallet. Like his wallet is huge. He doesn't give a fuck.
Response.
Yeah.
Like I know when we did the tours with them, I know they were shooting like $40,000 worth of pyro a night.
Yeah. Flying around in jets and shit. Like they ain't even fucking on the bus. That's just for the crew thing. Yeah,
dude. Like please tell me how bad they are again. Please let me know. I you know what? I tell you what, I want to suck. I want to be that bad. Can I be as bad as Nickelback, please? Can I be as hated as Nickelback?
Teach me. Yeah,
Teach
exactly.
Me no wise one. It blows my mind. People always have to have some hill to die on. It's like, dude, it's music. Calm down, man. Like, but back to the Evanescence thing. Like Amy and I have spoken a lot in the last few years, and it was only recently, a few years ago, that she reached out and was like, "Hey, man, I had no idea how negatively you've been impacted by all of this." She's like, I wasn't able to see it until I guess she saw me defending myself online or something, maybe. I don't know. But she was like, man, I had no idea how this must have felt for you. And I'm like, yeah, it sucked pretty hard for a long time. Like it made me hate the song. And all my friends are like, bring it up. Every meme, every little stupid thing online, I get tagged in 100 times a day. And I'm like, stop. Like, just leave me alone, dude. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to be the bad guy, I'm going to be the whole bad guy then, like, don't call me, don't talk to me, don't do anything. Then if that's if I'm only known for this one thing, you imagine being known for one thing, but you're hated for it. Like all the blood, sweat, and tears I put into 12 Stones and my own art and my own emotions, ignored, not even acknowledged. Yet I say, wake me up. And people think it's like I'm some kind of asshole. And I'm like,
have you ever thought about, I'm a big fan of exploiting the obvious. So have you ever thought about exploiting the obvious in this situation and writing a song called Wake Me Up and having Amy Lee as a contributor to the song?
I was gonna actually start a coffee house called Wake Me Up, and then I thought, just go ahead and turn it into a bakery, and it could be Bake Me Up, or even a barbershop, Shave Me. At some point,
or maybe a dispensary, Smoke Me Up. I don't know. Just spitballing. Go ahead.
No, I'm being serious. Is like, I mean, if Amy now recognizes how much negativity that this had caused you, which, I mean, I think we could probably agree contributed to the issues with the mental health. I'm sure it did not help with the alcoholism and the addiction. So now, as we get older and wiser and sober, exploit the obvious. Wake Me Up. It's still a thing. Evanescence has a resurgence. They're always going to be a thing. And you have a song called Wake Me Up and have Amy Lee be a contributor. I think she would go for it. I think she'd think that's kind of funny, actually.
Well, I will say this. It won't be a Wake Me Up or anything like that, but I do have some music that I have in my pocket that I'm looking for features on. And I've reached out to Amy, and there isn't a no on the table. So I feel like there's still some potential to potentially work together again in the future. Like I said, I got nothing but respect for her, nothing but appreciation for all that she's done for music and championing, people's rights and things like that. I think she's a fantastic human being. So I don't want any of this conversation to be misconstrued as if I'm like living in a box under a bridge because of Amy Lee. That's not my life is not a direct representation of how that one song in my life went. But if we're talking about the emotion of it, it was a hard thing to swallow for a very long time.
Mm.
And then recently, through lots of conversations and spending some more time with each other, we've actually figured out how to see it through the other's perspective. So again, had I known there was any issues, I never would have touched this. That would have probably been horribly detrimental to my career, uh,
Mm.
in hindsight, obviously. But I'm never going to be the person that tries to impose my will on another, creatively or otherwise. It is not my art. So
Mm.
it's like
Mhm.
going and seeing somebody painting and being like, you know what you need there, and just scribbling on their thing.
Just,
You know what I
just
mean?
graffitiing it and shit,
Right.
like
Right.
spray painting over it. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what you talk about new music for 12 Stones? What I see that you've got some shows that you guys are playing. You're going out. You're back doing. You're on the road. New music from 12 Stones. What do you have planned? What's the goal here?
Yeah, we got. I never stop writing, so I have 8 million ideas. A lot of them are mostly good. You know what I mean? A lot of them are mostly done. But I just going to continue making music for
Didn't
myself
you?
and
Did
for
you
these guys.
hook up with Howard Benson and Company? Did I
Sure
hear
did.
this? So judge
Sure
and
did.
jury, another judge and jury guest.
Yeah.
So I think maybe Bobby made the connection with you and those folks, and they've been really great for Saliva. Quite recently, and Austin Winkler and Lilac and a bunch of bands that they're working with. And I saw that you were going to be working with them, and I was stoked because I feel like that's going to be a good fit for you guys.
Yeah. We did 2 songs with them. And man, working with Howard Benson is it's like a singer's dream, right? He's like, I got to go to Howard's house and I got to work with him and his lifelong engineer Hatch. And I told him when I got there, I was like, in my home studio here at the house, I'm a terrible engineer in home recordings, by the way, but I'm like, at home in my studio, I use the Howard Benson vocal plugins. And he smirked and he's like, that's what we're using here. Our mic's probably a little better, but we're still using the same plugins. And I'm like, that's awesome. So yeah, I'm like hanging out, drinking coffee with Howard at his house and just catching up and talking. And it was like we'd been friends for a long time. He made me feel comfortable in the environment. And, my nerves are always going to be bad when you go in to perform, especially in front of someone with such, high caliber.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just an unbelievable experience. And shout out Bobby for making that connection and making it happen. It's good to make connections through the years, and it's very humbling to know that he can make a call for me and get this thing happening. So we got 2 new songs recorded with them. We're gonna be shooting music videos soon, and then after that, I've got another album's worth of material that I've got to get in the studio and get down. But 2026 is our 25-year anniversary, and we're
Hmm.
hitting the road hard. I believe starting in March. I don't have all the details yet, but the plan is
Will
to
you
get
have
back
a whole new band, or is there any of the original cats around still? I know there was a little bit of drama maybe with one of them. We don't have to go into that, but or are you gonna kind of maybe try to reassemble the old band, or I mean, because sometimes people just either they don't want to do it anymore, or they're just not into it, or they don't or
that's
there's animosity, or you hate each other. I mean,
And I got nothing but love for anybody that's ever stepped on stage with me in any capacity,
right.
especially the ones that have been there from the beginning. I got no hate in my heart for those guys. What happens to me is I had a health scare. I found out I had melanoma, and
Mm.
so I had to go have it removed. I got a nice big old, you know, scar out of this bad
Oh
boy.
wow, yeah.
Uh, and I was working in a restaurant. I've been a kitchen manager when I don't do music. I love cooking. I love that creative process too. So I was working in a restaurant 60, 70 hours a week. And my other guitar player, John King, he's like, dude, you got to get out of here, man. Like, I realized I had this health scare, and I'm like, man, nothing's promised. Why
Mm.
am I giving all my energy to someone else that doesn't care? Why am
Yeah.
I, why, like, sure, a consistent paycheck is awesome, but what am I doing with it? I don't have any time for myself. When I am home, I'm sleeping, I'm angry, I'm aggravated about work. My girl's tired of hearing about it, so I made the decision to quit my kitchen job a year and a half ago. I started painting. I started selling handwritten lyrics. I started writing new music, doing features.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started digging myself out, and got to go on an acoustic tour with my buddy Scott Bartlett from the band Saving Abel.
Love
And
Scott. Yeah.
then he called up, and we went out and did an acoustic tour where him, myself, and my guitar player John, we played a mixture of Saving Abel and 12 Stone songs acoustically, and just traveled around. So I kind of got to dip my toes back in and get a feel for the travel and the way of life on the road again for a little minute. And then I was back in it. My mind's like, all right, let's go. My wife is super supportive. She comes out with me. She's my everything. She's my manager, my merch lady. I can't keep up with anything. So without her, I fall apart. So we bring my 2 dogs out on the road with me.
So it's not like you're really leaving home, man. You're bringing home with you. That's cool, man. And that's really cool.
You just got married, right?
I did. Yeah. Just flew out to Vegas. Yeah.
Congrats, man. That's
Where
awesome.
did you get married? Get married at a chapel, or?
Yeah, we did a drive-through. We literally did a drive-through, and the minister's name was Bruce Wayne. So I'm like, I got married by Batman in Vegas, man. So like his legal name was Bruce Wayne. I thought it was hilarious.
Where'd you go for the after party?
We went to the Golden Steer Steakhouse in Vegas.
Nice.
That's
a good one. I have a question for you. So quite recently, Doug Satchery's sent a care package to me they have a new spice called Cajun Kick, and he asked if I would, try this new product out and cook with it and post about it and stuff. And so I like to cook too. I've worked in restaurants, but it was more like as a server or bartender or whatever. So Paul sees my post. I made this shrimp and fish and artichokes, and I had his seasoning on it. It was killer. It's a killer dish. And of course, Paul comments and he goes, "Hey man, how about you and I do a cooking show? Let's fucking do it." And I was like, "Let's go." So I actually messaged him back, and I'm like, maybe we'll get the Satcheries to maybe fund something like that. And man, I could learn a lot from you in the kitchen for sure, man. I just do it because I like to cook, man, and I like to eat. I just smoked a turkey breast, and I used the original Tony's on it with some avocado oil. I put it on my big green egg, but yeah, man, we should lobby for something like that, right? I mean, that could be cool.
I'm all for it, man. I love cooking, man. It's one of my favorite things. But when you do it professionally for so long, like in the kitchen environment, it makes you not like to do it in that way. But now that I've been a year and a half out of the kitchen, and it's just me and my wife here, man, I'm every time she's like, "What we did something like I made a spaghetti the other day. It's just out of this world," and it's just like it's spaghetti, but man, I'm putting my life on this spaghetti.
Man, you're just loving that spaghetti. That's what I'm saying. You can taste it, dude. I'm telling you, when people are passionate about shit like that, like it comes across, and you can taste the passion. And the skill, of course, it took to make it. But people can be skillful and not passionate, though. There's a fucking difference.
It's always funny because I'm a big grill guy as well, and there's certain things that I make that if you don't eat them the way that I tell you to eat them, then you're not allowed to come to my house.
Fair. Hey, man.
It's rules. Those are my rules.
Wow.
That's how you eat that. You know what I mean? But the whole goal is when you cook for people is you want them kind of like making a song, right? You want people to talk about it after the fact. You want people to go home. Like my wife's brother's daughter, they live in North Carolina. They own an oyster farm. They came to visit, and the girl said, "Hey, can Mr. Jason make his brisket?" And I said, "Sure, I'll make the brisket for you." I always get a request for my brisket, and 14 hours on the green egg. I mean, it's good. And she goes, "Can he help my dad? Can he teach him how to do it?" So now it's a next level type of cooking. So now I got to go to dad and say, "Look, we put the mustard and the soy and the horseradish, and this is how I do it." That kind of thing. That's a whole different conversation. But the whole goal, right, is you want people to brag about your shit after you cook for them, even if it's just you and your wife and you're sitting there watching your story programs, right, Paul?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You wanted to brag about it. You wanted to
Yeah,
say,
it's a requirement. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna hover over you while you take that first bite, but I'm gonna let you do your thing. But we're gonna there'll be a pop
keep
quiz.
an eye on it.
Yeah.
You're going to keep an eye on it. All right, let's wrap this up. It was so nice to meet you. And I got to tell you, dude, I appreciate, again, you know, I try to come from the audience standpoint just because I think I understand how their brains tick. Your openness and honesty about your struggles, your life, your career, that says a lot about, I think, your advancement in your sobriety, but also you as a person. Like, you are just a really cool fucking dude, man. So I appreciate all of that, because again, I'm, you know, you and Brad go way back, but I'm listening to you and asking questions from a fan standpoint, and I'm going, dude, like let's be friends. You come cook for me, man. You know,
Anytime, man. Love to do it. You can join us on our new cooking show we're about to have.
know.
Hey,
gotta,
I've done a cooking podcast before. Good luck, boys. It's not easy.
No, I know that.
It would be for fun. I mean, and, you know, just I mean, he sent the recipe book. Maybe we just make recipes out of the recipe book, man. I mean, and the good news. What's that?
I'm talking about the editing. Good luck.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll pay someone for that bullshit.
Yeah, I'll hire that.
We'll outsource that one.
I can't edit my own comments on Facebook. I'm definitely not trying to do that on a
right.
video.
Oh
All
man.
Brad, you got anything before we go? Before we go, the Saliva show this weekend. Well, this is released on Fridays, but Galveston, Texas, Lone Star Rally, right?
Yeah, it will have already happened, but yeah, it's a Thursday. We do it every year though. It's the Lone Star Rally, and those folks are good to us. I can't remember who else is on the bill, but that's going to be it for the month, and then maybe only a couple more shows for the rest of the year, actually, for us in Saliva. So yeah, man, it's already kind of, the focus is already on 2026 and how those tours and the schedule is going to shake out for us. But no, man, as always, just grateful for you and for our guest, of course, Paul, for coming on, and for people listening. You know, when people tell me that they listen, I go, you listen to this shit? and it kind of cracks me up, because I'm like, wow, people actually do listen, and then they'll say, hey, that one episode when you talked about this, and they'll reference it, and I'm like, wow, that's powerful. I mean, and our numbers are growing too, so it's good to know that people are, you know, it may not be, we're not Joe Rogan, of course, but maybe one day, you know, we'll get close, or you know,
what I've learned,
still going down the road with it, man. You know,
what I've learned in this podcast world is you appreciate your bubble and you appreciate the wins. You know, if you can't be a part of the 0.001%, be a part of your percent. You know, so for those that listen, obviously we appreciate, in order to grow and get bigger, you just have to tell a friend and tag somebody on social media. It's just that simple, you know, because if we double those numbers, then they double, then they double, they double. So anyway, I have noticed though, more people, I think, than any of the other shows I do through the week, more people listen to the Vinyl Road podcast on the BPX YouTube channel than they do on the podcast platforms like Spotify, which I find very interesting. So you vinyl roadies are YouTubers more than you are Spotifyers, which is cool.
Spotify costs money, doesn't it? I mean, so
no, it's free.
Oh, it's free. Well, I think maybe, yeah. You know what's odd though is that the YouTube channel has the most glitchy issues and shit, or is that the spot on Spotify too, with the camera and the fucking, you know?
No, that's just your camera.
Probably, or my internet. It's probably my fucking internet around here or something, man. Plus, I have power lines right there, so that's probably why I'm so crazy.
Those are the comments I get back on shows like this. It's like, dude, Brad's glitchy. What's going on? It's his internet, man. I can't help it. I'm just trying to do the show here at Paul. You know, just I don't know what's going on with his internet. He's got dial-up.
Control, man. These filters are getting wild.
Right,
man.
Come back on anytime, please. Anytime, like Brad, just anytime, just bullshit. We just talk. I mean, there's a million things that we could have talked about and asked, and we could still go another hour or two. But I just love that conversation. It's great. For those that are listening, thank you so much. Make sure that you are getting the Vinyl Road merchandise. I'm getting ready to actually, by now, there's some really cool new Vinyl Road design that's up there, a Warhol look. So grab some of that merch. Make sure you go and support not only Saliva if they're in and around your town, but also 12 Stones. When Paul puts that out information, we're coming up to festival season after we get through the new year and we get into spring, the ones that still exist, right? For the radio stations that can afford to put them on, I can totally see both these guys being a part of some of those. So make sure that you're supporting rock and roll. All right. Thanks for listening. Look, as I always say, if you're going to be doing some drinking, I understand. I get it. If you've had too much, please don't get behind the wheel of a car. I've lost way too many friends like that. And share the shit. Don't be posting on social media because you'll lose a lot of friends like that. All right. Talk to you soon. Hey, bye.
I think we should do a podcast about rock and roll. I got some stories.
That's it for this episode. Check out jasonbailey.com for more shows. Until next time.
3 different shows, 5 days a week, 1 feed, details, and to subscribe, jasonbailey.com.